What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you on two different points. One of which is the PIF and how they're building a massive infrastructure for their 2030 vision and how Lucid is going to be very much benefiting from that. And secondly, looks like Lucid did hire a new VP and I already like them. So I want to talk about what that is and potentially why. So before I do, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado though, let's get right to it. And it is to note, it is at $8 or $7.99, currently 3.77% up. So very positive day today, yet the broader indexes are very much red. So today, A+, but this did come out on April the 4th. And it says right here, despite hitting a bump, Lucid says it's here for the long haul. And it does appear 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧 is saying that, who is the new head of government relations for Lucid Motors. And as I've said in the past, Jeff Curry's departure from Lucid was very much necessary and needed, but that whole role that he was in is very critical for Lucid's success. So it's good to see that 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧 is kind of stepping into that role temporarily. And that's the impression I get, at least from this article. But when it comes down to it, like I said, I'm a very big fan of Lucid's product. They are the best out there. And this is why I still hold Lucid and still cover Lucid content on this channel. But as I've said in the past, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of a lot of their management, with the exception of 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, because in general, the one interview that I did listen to he says more information and gives it and says it how it is in reality. And I actually really value that. I value honesty. Even if there is a potential problem, you need to tell us as investors, then we can make a sound decision based on that. So this is why 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 I'm a very big fan of. And coincidentally, he's actually talking today as well on Twitter via, I think, Spaces or whatever they call it at 3:30. So definitely, if you do have Twitter, sign in and take a listen to him speaking, because probably is going to be a lot more information. And like I said, I got more from him than all of Lucid PR in 2021 and 2022 combined. So very knowledgeable individual. But like I said, I actually really like this 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 guy as well, based on how he's speaking here. And it says, interest rates are high. The workforce is hit and miss. Demand has gone down. And ever since I saw that he said that, I instantly respect him, plain and simple, because like I mentioned, I value actual honesty. And again, this has been the writing on the wall since around September when I started to do a lot of videos on it. But keep in mind, Lucid has denied it up until basically their Q4 earnings in, when was it, February. So from here until February, they have been silent on this demand issue this whole time. But yet, one of the first things that this 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 guy says is that there is a demand issue and demand problem. So instantly, I respect him. But he also says inflation is killing people. It's killing the everyday American and has reduced demand. But what makes Lucid and other organizations in Pinal country, if I'm saying that right, just optimal is that we're here for the long haul. They're all here for the long haul. So again, I really value that, because even though there's a lot of short-term issues that Lucid is going through, so supply chain issues and then laying off staff, demand problems, and so forth. But I think us as investors, we know what we are investing in. We are investing in a tech company that has amazing technology. So even though there's a lot of short-term problems per se, the fact that he's actually acknowledging them and kind of bringing it up is a very positive sign. And I like the fact that they say that they are in for the long haul. So of course, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But when it comes down to the long haul though, of course, it is the PIF that is going to be very much helping them. So as you can see here, it says Saudi Arabia's 160 vehicle plants reshaping the kingdom's industry. So like I mentioned, they are kind of building their own massive infrastructure within their own country to thrive. And what I mean by that is, it says right here, so the Saudi Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources is revealed that the breakdown of factories is 33 for parts, accessories, and engines, 21 for vehicles and structures, including processing work, and 106 for trailers and semi-trailers, vehicles, or trucks. And outside of this, though, they do have a lot of other factories or plants, whatever they call them, to produce the necessary metals for everything that is stated here. So like I mentioned, they have this massive infrastructure so their 2030 vision can succeed. And their 2030 vision is basically right here. So it says here, the kingdom aims to produce around 300,000 cars by 2030 and will account for 50% of the car sales, or all the car sales in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries by 2025. From about 1.15 million cars, 62,000 of which are electric cars. So in general, pretty ambitious stuff, but I think they can achieve that based on everything that they've been doing over the last little bit. And as you can see right here, it does look like Lucid is expanding once again their presence in Saudi Arabia through the use of studios, and it looks like they are getting around the 3.4 billion over the next 15 years to build and operate the manufacturing facility. But even though this kind of part right here is being regurgitated for the most part, because this already did come out, I believe, in May the 19th, 2022, the fact that they are securing 3.4 billion in incentives and funding for the plant and so forth. So in general though, no matter what, I think this is a very positive sign, and I completely agree, going back over here, the fact that they are in it for the long haul. And of course, I think us as investors, we do generally worry about a lot of the short-term problems. So for instance, if it goes down 10%, up 5%, we start to panic or so forth. But you kind of have to take a step back and realize that bigger picture, Lucid is going to do a hell of a lot of good things based on their competitive advantage that they do have. And Peter did say that once again in the Q4 earnings, the fact that they have a very good competitive advantage and that they are years ahead of the second best competitor, which I think they kind of alluded to was Tesla, but they are already years ahead of even Tesla in that regard. So in general, know what you are investing in, know that they behind the scenes believe in themselves and they know that they are in it for the long haul. And clearly the PIF knows that as well, based on the huge amount of money that they've been really investing in the PIF, and clearly part of their 2030 vision bigger picture. So once again, let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. And like I mentioned, we are currently up 3.96%. I'll give you guys a quick overview of that. Based on options activity, things are looking fairly optimistic. So currently $389,000 in call premium, 254 in put premium, and a lot of big money, big transactions are happening today. So 1.16 or $1.6 million in one transaction. And like I said on my video over the weekend, it most likely needed to touch this S1. And conveniently, that is exactly what did happen today. So there was a little bit more of a tentative sell-off bouncing off of this S1, and it is en route to break past this $8.13 mark. So 100% on point on the expectations going into this week. And I did that video, I believe it was yesterday or it might be the day before, but regardless, it was on the weekend. And as you can see, number of retail investors are getting in today. There is no defined trend on the stochastic, but it is currently at 55, so fairly neutral in that regard. I'll give you guys a quick overview of shorts and what they are doing. So short score is currently 85, utilization is 100%. They are right now increasing 127,000 shares, so not too much, but again, it is up very much. Green today, so they're losing and probably thinking about closing out some of their position in reality, because there is currently 144.73 million shares being shorted, and that works out to be almost about 23% of the free float. So as I've said in the past, Lucid itself does have everything on paper to have a good squeeze. The only thing it's really been missing out on for a while now is a surprise catalyst. So in general, I think the technicals are starting to look very optimistic, and coming from an economic data standpoint, there is CPI on Wednesday, PPI on Thursday, and retail sales also on Friday. So in general, I think a lot of good, exciting things are coming Lucid's way, but outside of that, there is no actual news for Lucid, no SEC filings. And I think, of course, as well on Wednesday, Biden is going to be talking on the whole pollution and what they're going to be doing and his new targets potentially if they're going to be amended. So I think generally there's a lot of bigger, better things coming for Lucid, and I definitely will stay tuned to whatever this 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧 guy is saying, because like I mentioned, I already do value his kind of what he's talking about based on what he has said just in this one article. So I highly recommend you guys popping over and taking a look at that article, because there's a lot of things in here that I do completely value that he is saying, similar to what 𝗖𝗢𝗡 does say. So once again, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. And like I said, pop on to Twitter, and I might actually do a live stream on this as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, there is a good promo with Moomoo, link in the description below and also the comments. Sign up for a free account, you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. If you want to open up an account, throw $100 at it as well, you do get an additional 4 free stocks, each valued up to $2,000. So complete no-brainer. Let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below, and without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching.